Hi guys, good morning. Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Able to see my screen?
Yes, sure.
Yeah. Okay. So in the last session, we have discussed about the volumes concept. Okay. So for Linux and Windows, how to create a custom volumes. Okay. So the volumes which we are creating while launching the server, those volumes are normal volumes. Like if you have the configuration setup for your Linux servers or Windows servers. So how many drives you require and each drive how much space you require. So while launching the instance itself, you can make it out. So when the situation or in the scenario comes, like if you want to extend or if you want to add extra volume to your server, then we will go with the custom volume. And the only thing we need to remember that the volume and the server should be in the same availability zone. That is the only thing we need to do it. And it is same like a pen drive. Volume we can create it and we can put the data in the volume. We can eject it and we can add the volume to the another server. It may be a Windows or Linux, any server. So it's like we can create a custom volume and we can attach the volume to the server. If you don't require that volume, we can detach it and we can attach to the another server. So single volume to single server only, we can attach it only one point of time. Okay. So that is a scenario we can do with the volumes. Okay. Able to get that right. So one volume to one server at a time. So if you want to attach the same volume to another server, so we need to detach it and we need to do it. Okay. So to perform this custom volumes, so generally in the UI part, we will create a custom volume and we will attach the volume. But in the when we log into the server, it will not reflect that one volumes. So we need to do perform manual activities at the Windows level and the Linux level. Now the situation is, so this is why one server. This is my second server. So this is third server. Okay. So we have multiple servers are available here, but we have one volume is there. Okay. So this volume already I have attached to my EC2. I want to attach the same volume to the second server. What we need to do? We need to detach from this one. We can attach to the server. Okay. Same volume I want to attach to the third server. So what we need to do? We can detach it and we can attach to the third server. So this is a scenario like if you want to have the same kind of volume should be shared across the multiple servers. It is not possible with the volumes. Single volume, the sharing of the volume is not possible with the all servers at a time is not possible with the EBS volumes. To overcome this kind of problems, they have introduced like, so there will be like a shared volume. This is a shared volume and this shared volume we can attach to the multiple servers. Though that concept we are going to call it as a elastic file system or network file system. Okay, single volume will be there. That volume we can share across multiple servers. Okay, so in the interview questions they will ask what is the difference between EBS volume versus S3 versus EFS. Okay, so in the interview they will ask the difference between EFS or NFS. EFS is elastic file system, NFS is network file system. So EBS volume is nothing but the main difference. All these three are the storage solutions. So EBS volume we can attach to the single server. EFS, multiple servers. Okay, S3 is a global. Okay, EBS and EFS are region based. Okay, so when it comes to the EBS volume, we can create a volume and we can attach the volume to the single server at a time. Same volume cannot be shared between two servers at a time. It is not possible. Either we need to detach from this server and we can attach to the second server. So that is the concept of EBS volumes. But when it comes to the EFS and NFS, no need to detach, no need to attach with there. So how many servers you want to attach this one? So here we will specify this volume size. How much volume size you have on it? 5000 GB, 100 GB. This type of volumes we are going to call it as a shared volumes. Okay, and these volumes in AWS we are going to call it as a elastic file system or network file system. Okay, so single volume can be shared across multiple servers with different availability zones. It is possible. Okay, so that is the concept of EFS and NFS, elastic file system or network file system. Able to understand, guys, the concept?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so EBS volume, single server only we can do it. Okay, so we can't share that volume to the multiple servers at a single point of time. We can share it, either we need to detach it and attach to the other server. But in the case of EFS, so we can create a single volume and that volume we can share across the multiple servers. Okay, so when you want to if you want to store any data of all the three servers in a single thing, then we will go with EFS. Okay, so that will be available here. So for that one, to test this one, we require how many servers? At least minimum 2-3 servers we required.
Shamana S3, can we connect multiple servers?
S3 is a global one, storage one. It's a
Okay.
through CLI or through command based, we can do it. So the difference between these are the region based one. These are the global one. Globally, you can access it. So if you have access to the particular region only, we can access this thing. These are region level services. S3 is a global one.
Yeah.
Okay. For all the regions, we have a single storage solution S3. But in the region level, if you want to go with, so these are the storage one.
Shambro, one Glacier also one of the storage server.
That is S3 Glacier is there. Glacier is there. There are storage classes are available, standard, infrequent, like that. So Glacier is one of the lowest one. Means if you want to
Glacier store old data means
old data, means
yeah.
if you want to store, like if you have the patient's data is there, like we want to store the patient's data, but the persons who are not visiting the hospital for a long 6 years, 8 years, 5 years. So those type of data we are going to
Bangalore
have.
also, for example, if you take 20 years back bank loan, that data also will store.
Yeah, bank detail data. The person who are not regularly visiting, we are not fetching any kind of data, but still if you require the data, those kind of data we were maintaining the storage class. So in the S3, it mainly relies on the storage classes. The storage classes, it will be vary for the billing. Okay, Glacier is the very lowest one billing when considered that. Okay, so we will discuss about the S3 when comes. So if somebody asked about the difference between EBS, S3, EFS or NFS, you can tell the differences. Okay, so EBS will be supported only for the single server. EFS, it will be supported multiple servers. S3 is a global based one. Okay, so this is the main difference you can tell in the interview perspective. So now come to the point to the EFS. Okay, take anything. Finance. Number of instances, you can take 3. Okay, so 3 EFS servers we have taken. Each server will have the unique instance ID, and if you select this also, each will have the unique IP address. Okay, so 3 will be having the same security group. We go to the security tab. So launch wizard 1 is the security group name. So we have launched 3 servers at a time. So one security group will be created and 3 servers will have the security group will be same. So if you open the security group, you go to the inbound rules. So default port is 22. So if you want to enable your NFS, so NFS will be running on the particular port 2049. Okay, so this is in the disabled mode, we can't enable it. So this is a universal port, we can call it as SSH is the default port is 22. If you go for any programming language, anything, so when we are doing the SSH connectivity, so they will ask what is the default port for SSH. Default port is 22. For same like if you want to go with NFS, if you want to do the connectivity, so we should enable 2049. Okay, so NFS will be working on the port 2049. So 2049 port should be enabled in the particular server. So instead of updating each and every server level, so what are the security group associated with each server? So we can go to the security group level, we can update the port. Okay, so anywhere we can take it just to save the rules. Okay, so one is SSH connectivity, another one is NFS we have enabled. So only single security group we can go and update here. So it will be reflected for all the servers. Okay. Now comes to the EFS. Okay, go to the search bar, search for NFS or EFS. So this is the Amazon Elastic File System. Okay, so create a file system. What is the name system you want to create it? Okay, so if you want to specific to the single zone, I want to go with all these 3 servers should be in the single availability zone. So we need to select the one availability zone. If you want to go with the standard with different availability zones, we can go with standard. Okay, so we have the custom option as is there. So if you want to see anything additional settings, we can't see it. We can see here, and default it will be selected in the see what currently which region we are there. Singapore region, Singapore availability zones are there. So if you want to go with other security groups, this is the default security group is there. So if you want to go with add one more security group, we can add one more security group also. Okay, because in this security group, we have enabled the NFS. Okay, come next. Next. That's it. Create. It's creating. Okay, now the file system is available to use it. So how to use this one? Just click on the file system name or FSS, click that file system name. If you want to attach the file system name, click on the attach button. So this command we need to execute. That's it. Okay, so using the EFS mount helper. So this command we need to execute in our server. Okay, so copy this and paste in your notepad. Here, if you see, this is the so where we are created our mount file, right? Sudo mount like something like dev slash xvdf slash something like testing we have done. So here same concept all here is there. So here in the mount place, they are using the EFS. So they have their own mount file system ID. That file system ID has been replaced here. So after colon slash EFS is there. So here we need to place our folder name. So for all the servers, we can execute instead of EFS, if the EFS folder should be there in the each server. So this is the path in our server. So whenever we are writing the data in this server, so the data will be copied automatically to this particular file system. Okay, so here, if you go, So this is a centralized file system. So we have n number of servers, we can have it. So we can take n number of servers. So in each server, we can create any folders. Any folders we can create it. So for example, this is like a testing folder. So this is data folder. This is hello folder. This is log folder. Okay. So these 4 folders which we are using in our servers, in these 4 folders, what are the data which are writing, it will be automatically copied into your file system. Shared file system. So this file system will have the unique ID. So that ID is this one. Okay.
So, Shyam, one question. Where did we specify the the space for the NFS? How big is that? How many GB did we create?
Yeah, it is 5000 GB. It will be supported defaultly. 5000 up to 5000 GB it will be supported.
So is it written somewhere, or when
No,
we are
it
while
is
we
in the
created it?
default like official website. It will be there. So default size if you go. Okay.
So, but while creating the NFS file system, it did not give us
It
that
will
option.
not specify anything. It will default. It will take it. It will not specify anything.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. It will not specify anything here. So it will just create the file system for us. Here it will not specify any size here. Okay. If you click the size, these are the options. What is the network access points, file system tags, monitoring. Okay. You don't have it. So it will be created NFS for us. So just we can create a mount paths and we can keep on dotting. So default file says if you want to get the information, we can get the information for here. Okay. So NFS. These are networking. You can see.
That is that they are saying is 47 TB.
What's out part TB? They are telling.
That's the maximum size they are saying, but there would be some default, right?
Yeah, default. That's what I'm looking. I had it's about 5000. It will be there. So 5000 GB it will be supported. Minimum it will be like 5000. It is unlimited actually. So maximum I know about it's around 5000.
Okay, but while creating it doesn't give that option, right?
That give option it will not give here. So you cannot see here anything that option here. So if you see the monitoring tags, access point, network application, you don't give anything. Okay.
So what is metered size in that? Sorry, you just had metered size, the first tab.
Meters.
What do you mean by this metered size?
Meter size. I should not try this one. Object size they are telling. sum of all the size of current objects.
Okay.
Means what are the file which we are putting it, how much size we are required. So when it comes to here, so we can create any kind of a folder in your servers. You can take a number of servers. So these servers, first we need to create a mount path, means we need to provide a link to the particular server to the NFS server. So this server we are already have the command. So once you create the file system, each file system will have the ID, and this is the path of your. You can take any path in your server. So we can replace this path with your server path, and we can run this one. Once you run, what are the data we are putting here? The data which you are putting in this particular folder, it will be copied automatically here. So what are the data is putting in the data folder, it will be copied here. What are the data is putting in the hello folder, it will copy it in the file system. What are the log folder it is there, it is comes. So whenever in the future, when you are creating the new server again you are putting one more mount path for same file system mount path if you are doing. So all the data which we are writing in the file system, we can see here also. Okay, so that is the advantage of sharing file system. So when in which cases we will use it. Okay, so if all the servers are in the load balancer. Okay, so in that cases, we will go with the shared file system, because if that request is coming, if the logs are storing in some server, so instead of storing the logs in a particular server, what we will do, the real-time scenarios, if the group of servers we are working it, instead of storing the data of the group servers, so we will create a shared file system, there we will put the data. So in that cases only we will use the shared file system. If you are working with a single server, no required shared server, shared file system server, right? So if you are working with a multiple servers only, each server data is very important for us. So in that cases, instead of storing the data in each server itself, we will go with the shared file system. If the server goes down, if you have any problem with one of the server, our data will be there in this shared file system. Okay, so new server is also attached it, so that shared file system data will be shared across all the servers for the old and new servers. Okay, that is the main use of EFS. Okay, somebody will call it the EFS, NFS, network file system, or elastic file system. Only the main use of multiple servers data we can store in the shared file system. Okay, that is the main advantage with the file system. Just click on the attach, we can do with multiple ways. If an EFS client is installed in it, we can go with this command, or if you want to go with EFS mount helper, we can go with. So here the concept is like, so instead of storing the data in the server itself, this mount paths or this extra file systems or volumes, what exactly will do. So instead of storing the data in the server, we are taking the virtual volumes, virtual storages. We are storing the data of the server in the virtual file systems. That is the only thing we need to remember it here. Okay, so here multiple servers will come into picture, wherein comes in the EBS volume, only single server only we are sharing the data. Okay, so that is the main advantage of EFS, NFS, and EBS. Okay, so in order to test this functionality, how can we do it? So now 3 servers are ready. Okay, so let us go here. Okay, so we are opening one more software, Mobile Extreme. So the persons who are new, so if you want to see, so this is also one kind of a software in order to connect your Linux servers. There are many softwares are available, so we can use any server. Our ultimate goal is to connect your Linux server. So if you want to see the server side by side, then we will go with Mobile Extreme. If you are working with a single server, then we will go with Putty also. So we can go with Mobile Extreme also. So click on the session, click on SSH, take the first server, EC2 user. Advanced. Okay. So first server connected, SSH. Second server. Second server. Then we'll go with third server. Okay. So we have connected to the 3 servers here. So in order to run this command, right? So first of all, we need to require some additional software we required here. So sudo yum install Amazon EFS utils. This software is required. Same thing we can do it. Sudo yum install Amazon EFS utils. Sudo yum install Amazon EFS utils. Okay, so whatever the directory you want to make it here, so make the directory here. Okay, so let me log into the root. We don't get any issues. Okay, so here I'm making one directory testing here. Okay, here I'm making one another directory. Hello. Here I'm making one directory data. So 3 servers, I'm making 3 different directories. Now, in order to mount this one, we need to run 3 times commands here. Sudo mount -s. One is testing. One is data folder. Hello folder. That's it. So while running this one, so if you're getting no errors, means we are good to go. So if you are getting errors, means there is a format I will show you. So first of all, you can see here very carefully after colon, if you are giving space and doing like this. Mount -t EFSO TLS file system testing and view. Okay, so can I find this one? You see the differences between here. So if you give the single space also, it will not work here. So if you see the difference, so slash testing folder exists, but it is saying that mount, we are unable to do it. But after giving the space, we are able to mount it. We didn't get any errors. Same thing we can implement for the hello folder. Data folder. Okay, so 3 servers, the shared file system is the same, but the folders in each server is different. Okay, so here we have 3, 4 n number of servers you take it. So each server we have having the different file folders are available. So what are the data writing in these folders? It will be copied automatically onto file system. Okay, so if it is not writing anything having problem with, then we need to check with your security groups which we attach to the servers. Okay, so go to the security groups and check your, if you're not able to write any kind of a data. Okay, so now I can go to the data folder. Okay, so I can go to the hello folder. I can go here, testing folder. Okay, so now I'm creating so in the data folder, I haven't created testing.txt and this server is different server. Okay, if you see here, so these two servers haven't created any files, anything, just have created the file in the server 1, but is automatically reflected in the server 2 and server 3. See, one entity to one server, just have created one file here. But if you go to the my shared folder, the file got created. So in the data folder also, my file got created. So if I go and create in the my third server I'm creating, but if you see, we don't have any files. Just I'm creating the file, I'm pressing enter. So in the data folder, we have 2 files. So here, ls. Okay, so whenever we are writing any data in this folder, so it will be copied into your file system. The file system which we shared across all the servers, that the data will be there. So that is the main advantage of using NFS, network file system. So we can create one mount path, means we can choose any one of the folder in the server. That folder we can link up with your file system server. So for that one, we need to do this. Okay, so nothing we have done. History. Okay, make directory. That's it. Okay, so in the real-time scenario, they will give only this file system for you. So how much space is allocated, that they will not tell to you. So in the real-time scenarios, we didn't get chance to create the file system. Okay, so they will ask us to create a mount path. Okay, so the folder name and this file system details they will give for you. Okay, understood concept, guys?
Shamana, once again, can you tell the install EFS command once?
Okay, so when we exit it, okay, history, if you take it. Okay, sudo yum install Amazon EFS utils. So this software, once we installed it, so then we need to no need to worry about this command. So wherever you have created the file system, okay, so just click on the file system and click on the attach. So you will see the commands here. Just we need to focus on this here. So they will give command like this. Don't directly do the copy paste. So replacing with something like, if you have testing, if you do copy paste like this, it will not work. Okay, so here colon space slash, after that we have space. It should be always one space and folder like this, then only it will work. Okay, so what are the command which was given from here? If you do the copy paste, it will not work. So we should be very careful with like this. Okay, colon
Why would it not work? You know, that with that EFS, Sham?
So the space it will not take. Here is the space is there, right? After slash.
No, I get it. But if you give this slash EFS like this, it will not work.
It will, slash EFS, it will not work here. I already shown an example here, right? Here, if you see, testing folder already exists. If you do the
No, I understand that if you don't give space, it will not work. But what I'm asking is, if we give space and instead of slash testing or slash hello, if we give slash EFS as given in the
EFS, if you give, it will not work because the folder does not exist, right?
Oh, okay. So we have to create first folder EFS.
This is the EFS is a folder. If you copy this, if you do here, okay, EFS is a folder. If you do, does not exist. Okay, so if you give space also here, does not exist. If I create EFS, then it will work.
Yeah,
This is a
correct.
folder.
Understood. Understood.
Okay. So like that, we have created multiple folders in different folders. That's the reason we are not created same folders. We have created different folders in our servers. This is hello folder. This is data folder. Then we have made marked with mount with data folder. And then in the data folder, we are writing some data. So the data will be automatically copied to your file system. What is the file system which is shared by other service also, the data will be visible. Okay, so that is in the same availability zone or different availability zone. So it maybe it doesn't matter. So just sharing of the files across multiple servers with the help of this file system. Single. Okay. Understood?
Yeah, understood.
So nothing we have done, just we have installed one software. Okay, so we have installed with this software. So let me copy. Okay, so sudo we have used it for installing software. So again, we log in with the root user and just we have created one directory and created the mount path. So what are the data we are writing in it? Automatically it will share across the NFS server where it attached to the other servers. Okay, so whenever you are writing the data in this folder, automatically it will copy to the file system. This data is copied to the file system. What are the data right in the hello folder? It is copied to the file system. If the file system is shared across these two servers data, it will be shown automatically in the server one. Okay, so that is the concept of shared volumes. Single shared volume sharing across multiple servers. Okay, so they will ask you about the steps also. Okay, we need to use we can do with two ways. One is with the mount helper, another one is with EFS mount helper using the NFS client. So you can tell in the interview, we are using the EFS mount helper. For that one, we have installed the software. And the same thing like how we are mounting with the EBS volumes. Same thing, we are replacing the EBS volume drive name with file system name. That's it. If you tell that thing, that will be enough. Okay. So two ways we can do it. One is mount helper, one is with NFS client. So this is the way we can do it. So here DevXVDF will be there. That will be replaced with your file system name. That's it. Remaining all the things are mount path creation, everything which we did seen in the Linux systems, right? Same thing only. Okay. Linux system, what we did. So just we'll check the sudo file -s, we do it, right? Which drive you are going to check it. So that drive name we'll check it. So next we will do make file system -t xfs. Okay. Next, which folder you want to make it. So for the example, testing means we will do testing. Next, sudo mount this folder with that one. Okay, to reflect it, just we will use. Okay, again we can use this command. Okay, so this is for Linux server with single EBS volumes. This is for file systems. Okay. Okay, that's it.
Sham, can you copy this full thing? Yeah, in the chat.
Okay, sure. Okay, so this is for Linux machines. Check it. And this is for our EFS. Just create it. And this is very careful if you are not doing. And one more thing we need to remember here. So we haven't opened all ports here. Just we have go to our security group. So whatever the security group is there, so NFS will work here. So we have only two rules we are available. So one is for SSH to connect to your server. We are connecting the server via SSH. So that's the reason SSH port is enabled. In order to run this NFS commands, so NFS thing should be already installed and NFS port also should be enabled. So that's the reason we are using 2049. So we haven't used all traffic here because if you use the all traffic, all ports will be enabled. Here just we have used the which work we are doing. So that work only we have enabled here. So NFS is the type. So 2049. If you enable this thing, And this security group, if you are selecting at the NFS level, then only it will works. Okay, so launch wizard 1. Okay, so we have selected the launch wizard 1 security group. So if you see the launch wizard security group, NFS port is enabled. So these things we need to be considered here. Okay, so something they will call about your whitelisting your IP addresses. So whenever talking about the IP address whitelisting, okay, ports enable, everything will be there in the security group zone. Okay, if somebody talks about the ports and IP address, so we need to come to the security groups. If you are working with EPS, anything, so we need to know the what is the port, to whom do you want to give the access. That's it. Okay. Understood? So how to do work with EFS? So it may be chance to work with in the real-time scenarios NFS. So because most of the people will prefer this concept only. Okay, shared volumes, because if you are using all the servers as a cluster, or if you are maintaining as all the servers as a group of servers, we are maintaining it. So all the servers data we want to do it. So if any problem with the server, we don't want to lose the data. So they will go with shared file systems. Got it, guys? NFS?
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is very important. Try to practice it. So if you stuck at somewhere, just please let me know. Okay. So while executing the commands, the spaces also matters. So if you don't give the space also, it will not work. So as it is, we need to put the command. So here we need to replace with your command. Okay. So not only the single one, we can go with any folder. Like we can go with home, EC2 user. Okay. Data testing. Okay. So it is not like that. The right side, which after colon, what are the thing is there. So we can give entire folder. Not only the single one, it should always slash with star slash. So home is the base path. From that EC2 user, we can create any folder. That folder name should be what the folder name we are putting here. So that folder name should be exist in the server. Okay. So then only we can create it and we can run this command. Okay. Okay. Okay, so next thing is we are going to talk about the IP address. Okay. Elastic. Okay, so public IP is nothing but. So if we have the public IP address, then we are connecting from the outside the world. So for example, this is my personal laptop. So this is AWS server. Okay, consider this is a EC2 server. So if we have the public IP address of the system only, I can connect from my machine to the AWS server. For example, now we are connecting this server. This server I am connecting from my local machine. So if we know the public IP address of the system, so we can connect from the outside of that network. So for example, this is AWS network. Okay, so if this is AWS network and this is my network, means, okay, so from my network, I'm connecting to the AWS network. So EC2 will be there in a particular network it will be receiving. But whenever I'm sending any request from my local machine to, I'm trying to connect to the EC2 server. So this request, when we are sending it, this system should understand, and my IP address also should be registered there. So then only it will be allowing me the request. I'm able to connect to this server. So these type of things always will be happen with the public IP. So if we are connecting any server from outside, company network or client network, anything you are there. So within the company network, once you step inside the company, so if you are able to access the server details from outside of your company network. So when you come to the home and you are still connecting your servers, because that server will have the public IP. Okay, so next comes the private IP. within company network. Okay, outside not allowed. Okay, so public IP we can connect outside. So private IP we can't connect to the private server. So for that service we don't have the public IP will not be there. Okay, so when we click on the launch instance here, okay, so here the default VPC. Auto assign public IP is there. I can put in the disable mode. Okay. You can see public IP will not be there. So here we have the private IP is there. So if you see the networking security group of this one, so launch wizard 2 is my security group. If you open the security group here, so if you edit the rules, SSH is enabled. But still, if you are trying to connect this, okay, so let the server comes up and running. So once you see these servers, we don't require, just straight tablet. Okay, so when you see the private server here, for the private servers, we don't have the public IPs. Okay, so those sub servers we can't access from my local system to that servers, we can't connect it. So if we have the public IP only, we can connect it. To connect your private servers, what we need to do? If you want to connect your private servers, okay, so first we need to connect your public server. This is public server. From there, we can connect to the private servers. Okay, so first we need to, this is my AWS network. This is my AWS network. So once you connect to the AWS network, from there we can connect to your, okay. So next we can connect to the, okay. So if you want to connect to your private servers, first we need to connect to the public server. From there we can connect to the private servers. Directly we can't connect to the private servers from my local machine. Okay. So if already the SSH port is enabled, so if you're trying to connect it, so select this one, you have only the private address. You take this one and try to connect this server. It will not ask for the username because the IP address which we are sending the request is a private one. So if you have the public IP only, we can connect it. Private IPs, we can't connect it from the our local machine. So if we are in the company network, if we are in the AWS network, then we can connect to the private one. See, we can't able to connect it. So if you want to connect from my local machine to this AWS server, we should always require public IP. Okay, so this private IP, if you have only single one, we can't connect it. So we can connect to the servers, but when we can connect it, so we can first we need to log into the public server. From the public server, we can connect to the private server. Okay, so when the VPC comes, I will show you how to connect it. Okay, so VPC is networking. We will see how to connect. Okay, so just understand the concept here. So public IP we can connect from anywhere if we have the access. So private IP only within the network we have it. So here the concept is when you restart when you stop or restart any server. public IP server. So when you stop it or restart it, you will get new IP. Okay, every time we will get new public IP. So when you click on the launch instance here, so take Elastic IP example. Okay, so instance type, just keep here, I'm selecting, click on the launch instance. Okay, so if you see here, this time we got the public IP. This is private. Okay, so how to connect also we will show you. So public, this one with the help of public IP you can connect. Now the public IP address is, okay, so before restart. Okay, so 54, 151, 216, 213 is the one. So how many times you restart it, private IP will never change. Private IP will not be changed. Okay, so if you see, this is my private IP. And this is my public IP. Okay, so public IP will be always changing when you restart the servers. But when you restart the server n number of times, the private IP will never change. It is a fixed one. So now if you see, so the server is getting ready. So once it is getting ready, I will stop it and I will restart the server again. That time.
Sham, one question.
Yeah.
So you see there is a private server you've put, which doesn't have a public IP. How do you create a server without a public IP?
Here I have used one option here, right? So when you see no private IP, okay. So here we have network settings is there, right?
Yeah.
So in the network service, we are editing the network service. Okay. So here you can see.
Oh, okay. Auto assign.
Auto assign is there. So just I'm clicking the disable mode.
Okay. Okay. So it will just come up with a private IP.
Only come a public IP will be disabled here. So it will not comes with.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Same thing I did for this one. Okay. Just go to the network setting. Auto assign public IP will be there. Just will be disable mode. So you will not get the public IP. So you want to restrict the server, should nobody be access to the outside the world. So if you don't have the public IP, we can restrict that, nobody can access it.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So this is the way we can do it. So when you see the, here we got the public and private. Okay, now the server is up and running. Right. So now the IP address is 213. Now I'm going to do the stop instance. Okay, so instance got stopping. Once it got stopped, I will restart the server again. Okay, it got stopped. So when you click on the stop, so you can see the private IP will never change. So the public IP got vanished. Okay, so now if I start the instance, the new public IP address will be assigned. See? After restart, you can see the difference. This is before restart. After restart, we got the new IP. Okay, so when you stop this one also, n number of times you stop it, n number of times you restart it. Every time when you restart it, you will get the new public IP. Okay, so to overcome this problem, I want to have a fixed IP. So if you restart the server, if you restart or if you stop n number of times, I want unique IP address, then we will go with elastic IP. Okay, so here allocate elastic IP address is there.
So we'll have to select the server to give it the elastic IP, right?
Yes, yes. So here we will create the allocate elastic IP address is there. Just to create allocate. Okay, so it will create one elastic IP address is there. So this was not associated to anything. Any instance, it's just it is we are creating one elastic IP. So that IP, this is a fixed IP. To which server you want to allocate this IP address? So we need to go, we need to know the instance ID of this one. 31F63 is the server which we want to allocate it. Just go to here, actions, associate it.
Okay. Okay.
Choose the instance 163. Just associate it. Okay. Now 163 instance we have associated it. Just refresh it. 155. 155. Okay, so instead of having this different IP address, so what is the elastic IP address is there? So that will be fixed for your server. If you do n number of restarts also, this IP is fixed. Okay.
So what is the real life scenario use case for this?
For example, this server is fixed. We want to access, we want to give this IP address to the client. So if you want to do your changes, if you want to do the restart, okay. So if the client want to access this server, okay. So instead of giving the every time new IP, we can't give it, right? So for that one, we will give the fixed IP address. So if you restart or n number of times you do it. So now it is 100. Now I'm going to stop it. If you stop it also, IP addresses will never change. Okay. If you restart also, stop it, start it. So already elastic IP is allocated. Okay. So now, until you release this IP address, so this IP address will be fixed for this server. But I don't want to use this server now. I want to use the elastic IP for another servers. Same thing like EPS volumes. So we can release this one. That elastic IP address will come to the free pool. We can allocate this elastic IP to another server also. Okay. So now it got stopped. If you stop also, same elastic IP address will be there. So if you start also, the IP address will never change. Got it?
Yeah, maybe DNS servers we would be giving elastic IPs, right, Sham?
Yes. Yes. Okay. So I don't want to use elastic IP for this server. I want to use for other server. So we can come here, action, deassociate is there. Deassociate. So this elastic IP, are you trying to remove from this elastic IP? Yes, deassociate if you do it. So this elastic IP will be removed from that server. Now again, it will come to the free pool. Okay. Now we can associate to another server.
Okay.
Like that. Okay. So in this way, we can create elastic IP. We can associate to one server. So if it is server is not used, we can release that elastic IP from that server and we can allocate to other servers. Okay. So whenever you are going for any interview questions, So there is a concept called limits. Okay, limits are very important. For example, how many servers we can create? Limits is nothing but region based. So how many elastic IPs we can create it? How many public IP address will be there? How many servers we can create it? Okay, so how many IMA users we can create it? How many roles we can create? Means quota we can call it as. Quota is nothing but limitations. So maximum 5 elastic IPs, 200 VPCs. Okay, 5 VPCs we can create it, and 200 subnets. So these are called as a limitations, are the resource quotas allocated by the region based by the AWS. So we should know each and every resource quotas before going for any interview. They will ask some resource quota information. So how much GB we can upload it. For example, S3 is there. So maximum size of the object, how much we can upload. So that is called the limitations. So before going for any interview, we should go about, so you are mostly working on the instances. How many servers we can create maximum for the particular region? We should know this information. Okay. Got it, guys? Okay.
Yes, Shyam.
Okay. Tomorrow we will go with some other concepts.
Shamana, can we allocate our own IP address to servers?
Our own IP address means?
If you want to give some special particular IP address.
Yeah, we can give it. So you can purchase your IP address and we can have the mapping concept is there. So there we can go with Route 53. So Route 53 is the one service. We can create our own IP address and we can map to the server IP address. We can do it, the concept.
Okay.
And have we completed S3 or I missed it probably?
No. IMA we completed, CLI we completed, Cloud Shell we completed. Next EC2 we are doing. Okay. So S3 and VPC is not completed.
Okay, fine. Thank you.